News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
The controversy continues in the Missoula County Sheriff's Office. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Monday, September 21st, 2015. Right, the sky mostly clear. Beautiful morning. We have 59 degrees in Missoula, very warm, on our way to a high of about 71 before we're done. Our newscast this morning sponsored by the Mustard Seed Asian Cafe, located in Southgate Mall. KGVO News has learned that attorneys for Josh Clark, the former undersheriff of the Missoula County Sheriff's Office, offered a proposed settlement through the Montana Human Rights Bureau of nearly $1 million, but that said they would settle for damages of $750,000. Clark, who lost the election last November to T.J. McDermott, claimed discrimination by McDermott, which resulted in Clark's early retirement. A document prepared by Clark's attorneys, Rhodes and Seifert, to Clarice Beck of the Montana Human Rights Bureau states in part, quote, Clark's reasonably certain damages come to $974,477 plus interest. Continuing, Clark would like to avoid a lengthy and tiresome effort of continued litigation. Therefore, Clark will compromise his claim and withdraw the human rights complaint for the sum of $750,000. The county is reviewing all the documents, but no action has yet been taken. Sheriff McDermott says the claim amount is, quote, highly unreasonable, end quote. McDermott was asked by KGVO News to respond to the amount of damages requested, as well as claims made by Clark's attorneys that Clark had been given improper safety gear and self-defense equipment and placed on night patrol. His response, and I quote, pursuant to MCA 732-2102, Mr. Clark maintained his former salary prior to being appointed undersheriff, as well as his seniority as a patrol deputy, perhaps making him the highest-paid deputy on patrol. It's unfortunate that Mr. Clark chose to work only 3 shifts before resigning from his position. Being that I was only a week into my appointment as sheriff, I'd hope we could move past the election. With that being said, Mr. Clark's demand for $750,000 taxpayer dollars is highly unreasonable. We're confident the matter will be handled appropriately, and the public will see Mr. Clark's accusations are not supported by the law. Sheriff McDermott's full essay entitled Setting the Record Straight can be seen on our website at newstalkkgvo.com. 29-year-old Ceylon Elgin Taylor, a former Grizzly and semi-pro athlete, appeared via video from the Missoula County Jail on Friday to hear charges that, according to court documents, he allegedly beat up his ex-girlfriend, strangled her, and pushed her down the stairs while she held his child in her arms. Deputy Missoula County Attorney Carla Painter asked Judge Karen Orzek for $75,000 bail.
Defendant's criminal history consists of a PFMA from 2014, another from 2013. He also has a conviction for resisting arrest from 2013 and pending charges for disorderly conduct and obstructing.
Painter said the state believes that Elgin Taylor is a flight risk.
He's also a flight risk. At the time the defendant was arrested, he had a $24,000 in warrants out of municipal court. His probation officer reported that he has been absconded for nearly 4 months. He also threatened to kill the victim if she turned him over to law enforcement.
Judge Orzek placed Elgin Taylor back in jail on $75,000 bail, but denied his application for pretrial supervision due to the fact that he had absconded from parole on an earlier conviction. University of Montana law professors are concerned about the drop in the number of graduates who passed the Montana bar exam over the last 2 years. For the second consecutive year, the percentage of law graduates who passed the exam hit an historic low. 68% of UM graduates passed the July exam, slightly better than the overall pass rate of 62%. UM Law Dean Paul Kurgis told the Missoulian newspaper he doesn't think the sudden drop has anything to do with the quality of instruction or the quality or motivation of students taking the Montana bar exam. Instead, he points to changes in the exam itself and the decision in 2012 to raise the score needed to pass. An early outbreak of flu in Montana has hit 6 counties, including Missoula. According to Montana epidemiologist Jim Murphy, there are now 2 strains in the state. Missoula has seen a majority of the cases.
With influenza A, it looks like this has been brought in to Montana a little bit earlier than usual, so we're off to an early start. There were a couple cases of influenza B that we did find in the late summer. Influenza B is less severe, and it looks like maybe that didn't go entirely away. That might have been here all along, but people started testing for it again.
State authorities are asking the public to get the flu shot early as well. Last year's flu shot did not include coverage for some of the most common strains, but immunization specialist Becky Weiner said the Centers for Disease Control is confident the problem will not happen this year.
It is really early in the season to tell that for sure, but based on last year's results, we know that we had a little bit of drift in one of the strains, which caused a little less protection than we would like. The CDC is pretty confident that they have made an adjustment in that drift and that the vaccine is going to have better coverage this year than they saw for last year.
Missoula County Attorney Kirsten Pabst says embezzlement and bad checks have caused a strain on small business in Missoula recently. Last week was no different.
We've had a consistent flow of embezzlements that have basically destroyed several small businesses over the last several years. A lot of those have been perpetrated by folks that the business owners trust, like family. Sometimes it is family. We filed 2 felony bad check cases this last week, but we file literally hundreds of those a year.
Pabst says there are some simple steps businesses can take to prevent bad checks from getting into the till in the first place.
Insist on taking an ID and write down the full name, driver's license number, phone number, and physical address. The address should be printed on the check. Those counter checks are often ones that are hard for us to prosecute if it is in fact a bad check. Don't take a pre-signed check. Have the clerk witness the signature and then put their initials on it, because then they can be a witness.
According to Pabst, some weeks are so bad, Missoula County will have up to 15 bad checks at a time. Montana unemployment rate ticked up last month, but that didn't worry state economist Barbara Wagner.
The unemployment rate did increase up by 0.1 of a percentage point, but that's not a huge increase, and overall our trend is still going down. We are at an ideal rate right now, so if we have some bumps up and down around that number, that's okay. We kind of want to hang out right at 4% for as long as possible.
The current unemployment rate is 4.1. Wagner says thousands of jobs have been added since last year.
We've had over 10,000 jobs added in the last year from August to August. There's been pretty good job growth. In fact, for Missoula County has added about 1,300 jobs over the year. Ravalli added about 300 jobs. Both of those are slightly faster job growth rates than the whole state.
Wagner says job growth in the West is helping to make up for declines in the East triggered by lower oil prices and a slump in agriculture. Newstalk time is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Partly sunny skies today with our high temperatures right around 70. Tonight will drop into the low 40s. A gradual warm-up is expected Tuesday through Thursday with our highs warming into the mid to upper 70s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.